used to think that the point of schools was to prepare you for life. But let's take a look at what we learn at high schools, for example. Things like linear equations, the fact that sedimentary rocks are made from mechanical weathering debris, or that the 29th element in the periodic table is copper. And that must surely qualify you for life. Or does it?
We are taught as children how to talk, but no one ever teaches us how to communicate. And that is true especially when it comes to our emotions. Our educational system is absolutely not preparing the kids today for the real world out there. Look back at what you remember from your school years. How much of it do you actually use in your real life? Our emotions are a crucial part of our lives ever since we are born. They accompany us through every accomplishment, heartbreak, and our day-to-day struggles. Yet no one ever tells you how to deal with your emotions, how to express joy in words, or how to let the people around you know you're hurting. We are never taught the one thing that would save so many of us from bad relationships or feelings of loneliness. We should know what's going on inside our heads. How do we expect to raise mentally healthy and happy children if we never explain to them what happiness really is, or what healthy communication looks like? Saying to a little boy who has just hurt himself and is crying, "Stop crying and be a man," is exactly the type of thing that makes us believe swallowing our emotions is the solution to everything. But how should the parent know better if he's been taught to do the same thing by his parents, and they from their parents? The educational system has the power to interfere, because no matter what sort of role models, bad communication examples, or dysfunctional relationships the child sees at home, schools can show the kids that it is not the standard. We rarely believe something is possible unless we see it done. And that is why showing the children that you can also communicate openly and honestly with dignity and respect towards the other person will set the basis for their whole lives. Look at what happens today when we are not taught how to listen to and talk about our emotions. We grow up sort of tolerating them. But emotions are like signals. That is exactly why forcing yourself to stay in a job you hate will eventually lead to a burnout. But let's dream. Imagine an educational system that prepares the children for their real life, for all the rejections, failures, and heartbreaks. An educational system that teaches you to have a healthy self-esteem, where the children are taught to communicate with respect towards each other and themselves. Raising an emotionally healthy child is not a luxury, but a necessity. Think of all the wasted potential when people who could be starting revolutionary businesses or finding cure for cancer are suffering from depression, anxiety, or low self-esteem. When the fear of failure is so paralyzing that they do not even dare to write an application for their dream job. Speaking of which, with all the technological advances nowadays, a lot of jobs will eventually get taken over by machines. But here's one thing a machine will never replace: emotional support. So if you want to raise children most suited for the world of tomorrow, teach them how to communicate openly and respectfully. Teach them to love and support others, and teach them not to give up in the face of obstacles. And while the educational system does need to change, until that happens, we are going to have to educate ourselves, so that at least our children will have parents who care as much for their mental health as the bumps and bruises on their skin.
And now, it's your turn to speak up. What do you think can be done to change the educational system of today? How about we start changing the world? In the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to Iconic for even more psychology insights, and I will see you guys next time. Have an amazing day. Bye! Things like linear equations. The fact that sedimentary rocks are made from mechanical weathering debris. That was a mouthful.